Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Sean.
And I'm Corrine.
And where are we today, Corrine?
Today we are in Kolob Canyon portion of Zion National Park, and we're walking the middle fork of Taylor Creek.
It is a beautiful little hike down here. We're hoping we're going to get some end of the fall color and some nice shots of the rocks, the big monoliths that are a little further down. And we might even get some white puffy clouds because it looks like the clouds are starting to move in a little bit. So it looks like it might be a lovely afternoon. The middle fork of the Taylor Creek Trail is always pretty to walk. But at this particular time of year with the colored leaves, it just adds a completely new dimension and creates some just absolutely wonderful opportunities for some photographs.
When you're just about a little over a mile up the trail, you'll come to this little short Taylor Creek sign. And if you turn to the left, and you'll notice a path going through the trees, you'll come up to this cute little wood cabin that's here under the pines, and it's called the Larson Cabin. There's not much written out on the trail about the Larson Cabin. It is built around 1930, and it's mostly log home with a roof over top and a couple windows in it.
We typically come up to the Taylor Creek hike about once a year, typically in the fall. And we've noticed that each year we come, the cabins get a little bit more dilapidated. However, it's a great place to stop and rest. It's also a great place to catch a couple of lovely photographs. Photographically, the best spot to shoot the Larson cabin is actually from the backside, having the big mesa in the background in your shot. It's quite a pretty shot from back here, and the pines really frame the whole cabin and rock structure in the background very well.
This is the second cabin on the Middle Taylor Creek Trail. This one's called the Fife Cabin, and it is also from about the 1930s. Again, it's similar construction with logs and wood roof. Probably not the original roof. When you get to the end of the Middle Taylor Creek Trail, you come to these ledges that go a long way up the wall. This is called Double Arch Alcove. They're not really arches in the full sense like you'd see at many other locations, but they are grooved out, and it's kind of a tall feature here.
So Corrine and I have been out to Double Arch Alcove a few times, and over the last couple of years, the amount of growth on the hill that faces the arch has really increased. consequently, it's pretty hard now to actually get a shot of the alcove, of the arch, and then even the second arch. So right now you get kind of just, well, lovely colored foliage right in a moment, but you don't get the arch itself. So a bit disappointing and a bit hard to actually shoot these days.
So I'm set up with a portrait orientation. I've put on my wide angle lens, although I'm about 24 millimeters, so I probably could have got made do with my kit lens. I'm using ISO 100 f/16 aperture priority, and I've tried to eliminate as much of the sky as I could. I have a little in the top right corner that I'm going to have to later adjust, just because it's quite cloudy and that's going to get maybe a little blown out.
Now it's become quite overcast and the canyon is now completely shaded. In a way, it turns out that that's pretty nice shooting the canyon here with the alcove being a little darker than the upper canyon or upper arch, I guess they call it. And so it allows you to get a fairly even lighting across both arches, which can be quite difficult if the sun is actually shining down in the canyon here. So that makes a shot a little easier. The water running down the canyons creating the black lines on the canyon create a lot of interest in the walls, and it's important to make sure that you get those in focus when you're taking the shots. In contrast to the way Kareen's taking her photographs with a wide-angle lens, I've decided to stay with the kit lens and polarizer, and then what I'm doing is actually shooting vertical panoramas because the double arches being stacked almost right on top of each other it's too wide for the camera as I've got it. So what I'm doing is taking a series of pictures from the bottom all the way to the top. Like Kareen said, you have to manage the gravels and sands down there in the bottom because they're very, very bright. And the first arch is quite dark, and then the second arch is sort of in between. I've done a couple versions. I've done it with the camera in landscape version, and I've done it with the camera in portrait version. Not sure which I like better. We'll just have to see when I get back and put them together. I'm also using aperture priority, which seems to be working okay for these shots. But I'm using an ISO of 400 to get a little faster camera speed. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward shot.
Well, we've had quite a good hike out here on the middle fork of the Taylor Creek Trail. It's in total just about 5 miles.
And we've had really good color on the leaves still, even though it's the really latter part of the fall. Absolutely perfect day for hiking, just perfect weather. Just a couldn't have been better day for the hike.
And even though it's a weekday, we've seen lots of people out on this trail. So it's best as a weekday visit because I think the crowds would be twice as bad on the weekend.
It sure would. So yeah, if you can get out here on a weekday, definitely recommend it.
Got a few pictures taken. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, I got a few. It's one of those ones where you really can't tell in the field because it's a little too bright how good the photograph is, but check the histograms and made sure everything was between the lines, so should have lots to work with when I get back.
Excellent.
Well, we sure hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, we sure hope you will subscribe. There's lots of people watching but not subscribed, and it really costs you nothing to do a subscription. We appreciate it. It helps us out.
Yes, it doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help us out. And we're actually releasing more videos these days. We're making several shorts during the week. So if you want to know when videos are being released, hit that little bell button down below.
And we love to hear from you. If you have a question, comment, thought, if you've been on this trail, if you think you have some suggestions on our compositions, we'd love to hear from you. Put it in the comment section right down below.
And we'll answer them as soon as possible. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.